Stuart Dew, breaking news when you're listening to this. This is 11:15. We've hit record on this. So Stuart Dew been sacked by the Gold Coast Suns. Just haven't shown enough improvement, basically, is the reasoning behind it. They're 7-9 this year. Had a 33-point loss to the Power on the weekend. 6 seasons at the club, or almost 6 full seasons. No finals. The win percentage, not great, Jared.
Not long enough, though, 6 seasons.
You think?
What improvement do they want to see when they're losing all these top-end talent to other teams, which they have over their short journey in the AFL? So,
well, he had the worst winning percentage of any active coach.
He does at the moment. A better winning percentage than any other Gold Coast coach before him.
Low bar.
As well. Low bar, but still higher. So if they want to talk improvement, well, there's a technical improvement there. I know that's a bit tongue-in-cheek, but I find the timing of it all quite baffling. Why would the hierarchy of the Gold Coast Suns come to a decision in round 17 or 18, where we are now, where they're on 7 wins, 3 wins behind their club record of 10 wins. There's 7 games to go. Yeah, it's probably far-fetched to suggest that they might make the finals this year. I don't think they will. They probably won't. But how are you receiving this news as a player when the club comes to this decision? You learn your coach's fate. He's out the door. What message does it send them? Oh, we're throwing in the towel for this season. That's it then. 7 games left. What, you just think we're not going to make finals? They're 3 wins away and 4 wins away from having a club record season of 10 or 11 wins.
They are...
Baffling.
As we said, they're in that middle band of clubs. And a few good performances could see them well and truly back in the race. But I think we talked about this either last week or the week before. 5 losses this year by 7 or more goals, which is incredibly damaging when you talk about, yes, you might scrape a few wins here and there, but the losses have been big.
Yeah, and the 4th most, goal streaks conceded between, just only the bottom 3 teams below them, West Coast, North and Hawthorn, have conceded more 3-goal runs. But even just looking at, where they sat pre-bye, going into it, I think, they had just had a win over Adelaide, I think, coming into the bye. Were looking pretty good, and with it starting to sort of re-establish their season and find an identity. Sort of, they've played 3 games since the bye, or 4 games, since the bye. They haven't won contested possessions in any of those games, so they smashed Hawthorn by 9 goals, won the game, broke even in contested possessions. So you think about going away and working on things over the bye and trying to fix, some of your weaknesses and sort of make sure your positives are still up. They were number 1 for contested possession differential going into the bye. And 16th coming out of the bye. So since in the last 4 weeks, Cincinnati obviously haven't won it. 18th for pressure applied after the bye. 8th pre-bye. And then just looking at points scored from your forward half intercept. So again, being able to lock the ball in your forward half and being able to score. That's a lot of that's to do with how you're set up behind the ball. 17th for points from forward half intercepts post-bye. Only West Coast worth. They were 10th pre-bye. So there's a whole lot of numbers that have actually fallen off the cliff in the last 3 or 4 weeks as well, where we were talking about Gold Coast were almost ready to take the next step. It's almost like they've taken a clear step backwards in just a 4-week period.
The buyers killed him, it seems. He was declared safe last week, so this is what you were talking about before.
Yep.
Mark Evans comes out and says, no, there's no way that we're going to be getting rid of him. But the obvious elephant in the room, and now this is all going to be a little bit speculative until we know more, is Damien Hardwick. And all I can get from reading between the lines is the impression that the Suns have either gone to the AFL, they've gone to Dimmer, they've got handshake nod agreements saying, I'll happily come in if you want me to come in. And that's the reason they've moved on Dew at this stage, with the club still technically in contention, but probably not, and with 7 games to go.
Yeah, this is why I say the decision to get rid of Stuart Dew isn't... I'm not against that. I can understand why they're cutting ties with him, but it's the timing of it that's really suspicious to me. And you bring up Damien Hardwick. I wonder whether there was a verbal agreement between Damien and his management and the Suns hierarchy as well. It wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. That's the only thing that I can think of as being that warrants this decision being made at this stage of the season. They have to know who they're bringing in already. But then, if that was the case,
to run on his deal still.
Correct, but why would you not just wait until the end of the season, see what they can do?
Because there are other clubs that might sack coaches, get a head start on recruiting.
If there was a verbal agreement with Dimmer,
yes.
Do you think another club would swoop in?
I don't know. If you could talk about any club. You could talk about West Coast if they decide to part ways with Simpson. If Dimmer looks at that and goes, he's playing in front of 50,000 in Perth every week at that brand new stadium, big fan base, as opposed to what is it these days? Heritage Bank Stadium with a 50-50 split in the crowd. You never know.
At halftime,
lay the groundwork early. I get it.
Halftime of the Port Adelaide game, are they sacking Stewart Dew?
That's a great question.
honestly.
Look, statistically, they were right in that game.
They've lost to the two best teams in the competition the last 2 weeks before deciding to get rid of him. I know this decision may have already been in the works for quite a long time.
Yep.
But to do it the 2 weeks after losing to the two best teams in the competition, of which you were beating Port Adelaide at halftime, you're 7 wins, 7 games to go. I just find it extremely baffling. And I worry that this could cause more dominoes to fall in terms of keeping players, which they've struggled to do in the past. But maybe it is because they think Damien Hardwick could come in and rally the troops.
Obviously, questions will be raised about the viability of the club as well. You talk about crowds being down, the fact that it does lose money as an AFL entity. But the flip side is what we've just talked about, these allied sides that come in and there are Suns Academy players. I think there's at least 3 that look like they're going to be extremely good prospects, and it means that the Suns are going to have to make some tough choices in terms of draft picks and matching bids and all this kind of stuff that comes. So I guess it's not all doom and gloom.
No.
But,
it's not a bad time to be a Gold Coast coach right now, considering the talent that they might have coming through the door. So if it is Damien Hardwick...
Right person, wrong time perhaps for Stewie, you never know.
I would have liked to see him see out his contract and have this year of drafting as well, given the Allies just won the championships.
Interesting. We'll see what happens with the Suns in coming weeks and months.